Hello everyone! So my husband and I have been really into playing old video games, specifically ones for the Super Nintendo. I used to play the Super Nintendo when I was a kid with my brother, so it's really nostalgic for me. And my husband as well, he's a few years older than me, so he was kind of an older kid. But anyway, I wanted to talk about some of the games we've been playing and what I think of them. So the first game I want to talk about is called The Secret of Mana. Now, I actually never played this game when I was a kid. To be honest, I never even really heard of it. So there wasn't really any nostalgic factor there, but my husband did play it, so he really wanted to play it, so we did. First, I want to talk about the things I really like about this game. So obviously the first thing, which is one of the things that make this game super unique, is this game is a role-playing game, but it's actually multiplayer, which I feel like you don't come across very often. So I really liked the fact that it was multiplayer. Not only was it multiplayer, but you could also switch the characters you wanted to be, so you didn't have to like be stuck being the same person the whole time. You could switch and choose who you wanted to be. You could even switch your character during battle, which is great. Not only could you switch your character in battle, but you can also switch your weapons in battle. Or whatever you want, really, which is great. My weapon of choice was the whip. I really liked using the whip. It had a really long range. I usually prefer long range weapons when I'm playing that kind of game. I thought I would really like the bow, but I don't know. I felt like the bow wasn't very accurate, so I really like the whip. Another thing I really like, which also kind of makes this game really unique, at least during its time, is the battling system. So usually games around that time, when you encounter a random battle, it stops and you go into it. But in this game, the battling was in real time, so the enemies were there. It wasn't just a random attack. Like, you could see the enemy as you're walking, so I really like that. And one minor thing that I really appreciate about games like this are the treasure chests. I don't know why, but I always appreciate when the treasure chests look like traditional treasure chests. I did like that. In this game, though, the treasure chest could have good things in it, or it could have bad things in it, which I thought was kind of interesting. The world was pretty easy to navigate. Like, you take the cannon, later on you get a dragon, so that was great too. There wasn't much I didn't like about this game, but some things that were kind of whatever. So I mentioned earlier that you could switch weapons and characters during battle, which is great. I liked that, but the thing that both of you have to stop if one person goes into the menu screen, like if they want to use magic or switch their weapons, which it was a little bit annoying. You have to hold down a certain button to fill up your attack gauge to make a powerful attack, and if you're doing that and then someone stops to go into the menu, it's a little jarring. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really see any way around it if you want to be able to do those kinds of things. But whatever, it wasn't that big a deal. So there are 3 characters in your party. So obviously it's a 2-player game, so one of you is one character, one of you is another, and then the third is just like a computer. But we've noticed when we were playing that the computer person always lags behind. Like, they're supposed to follow you, but they're always like, you know, dawdling behind. They get stuck with enemies and try to fight them, or they get stuck in a wall and they're just walking into the wall, so then you have to go back and, like, you know, come on, let's go. So yeah, we came up with a not so very nice nickname for like whoever was the computer. And also I felt like maybe this is just me and like, I don't know, but I felt like the storyline and the keeping the characters straight was a little confusing for me at first. By the end, I pretty much had gotten everything straightened out and I got to know the characters more. But it's like, in the beginning, you will see a character for a few minutes, then they'll leave. and then you don't see them for a while, so you kind of forget about them, and then, you know, obviously they're these little, not so detailed characters, so I don't know. I just had a little bit trouble differentiating, like, some of the characters, like Diluc and, what was his name? Thanatos or something, I forget, but, or like who they were, I don't know. Yeah, and also like the storyline, some things just happen randomly, and you, for example, when you meet the girl that's supposed to be in the party, she runs out of her room mad at her dad, like she's meeting someone he wants her to marry or something. But then later on, you find out that she's in love with Diluc, and I was like, where did that come from? I don't know. I guess there's like secrets, and they come out, and maybe I'm just an idiot and didn't like follow along properly, but I don't know. And another time at the end, the Empire is using the mana. They're using it up, and you have to stop them because the world would end or something, or the mana monster will come out. And at the end, you find out that Thanatos kidnapped Diluc because he wants to use his body. But I felt like that was so out of nowhere. Like, oh, you're trying to raise this castle, you're using the mana because you want power, and then now you want a new body. I mean, maybe it was supposed to be very surprising and shocking, but I just felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, what? One other thing is, even though it is multiplayer, you don't meet the second character for, I feel like, is kind of a long time. Like, you're waiting like, oh, when do I get to play? So there, at the beginning, there was a time where my husband and I just took turns playing the main character, but I feel like it did take a little bit to get to the second character, and then even more time to get to the third character in your party. So there's that. But anyway, those are just some minor things. Like, I definitely think this game was overall really good, even without a nostalgia factor. I really enjoyed it. I really had fun with the fact that it was multiplayer. You know, playing a game with someone else is always more fun, in my opinion. Would I ever play the game again? Maybe not. I think it was a good one-timer. I have recently heard that they are remaking it for the PS4, I believe. So maybe I would consider playing the remake, but I don't know. I think it's a good one-timer. So that is what I think of The Secret of Mana. I'll see you next time. Bye!